All right, guys. So yesterday in the live call, we looked at several markets. We looked at the BTC market over here. We looked at the IUST and we looked at the BNB market. And yesterday we saw that money was beginning to leave BTC. Altcoin was still pretty stable as of yesterday, but we said that money was going to leave altcoin as they were going back into USDT. People were cashing out of their profit. So we see that happening over here, that USDT started receiving back the money flow. But that is not going for so long, because we can see that USDT over here is also hitting a previous resistance of its money flow. So we'll probably see a little bit short run from the dump that has happened before we will probably get a full-blown market decline. So if we look at the market, we checked yesterday, we shorted BTC yesterday at this point over here. We shorted BTC and BTC has declined from that point and it's moving towards our first target, which we have here. So we still have the BTC trade running over there. Then we had IUST as an instant trade, which we shorted at this point over here, and IUST has moved into our 13% market target, which gave us 50% profit on a 5S. So that's a really amazing amount of profit. Then we moved into BNB, which is pretty stable market, but yet it's moving into our first target of 4.7% and then 11%. And then we took a 20% profit from BNB yesterday. So total on each individual trade, we've done about 80% on each of this trade. So today we're going to look at other market. Where is the market going to and what kind of trades do we want to take? So first we can see that USDT is hitting that same resistance. So we want to see what is happening. Where's the money going into right now? If we look at BTC, we'll see that BTC is taking a bounce, means people are putting back money into BTC, unlike yesterday. So money is moving back into BTC. If we look at the short frame of 1 hour also, we see the same thing happening, but also BTC is approaching this money flow resistance that we're going to see at about 44.7%. And so we probably see a decline once that hits. So also what is happening with altcoin. Yesterday, altcoin was still pretty stable. Money was still there, but we knew if money is leaving BTC, money is moving back to USDT, it's soon going to start reflecting with altcoin. So we see that happening over here, that money started leaving altcoins over here. If we take to a shorter time frame, we see at this point when we talked about altcoin trading, and we saw money decline from altcoin up onto this point, but yet it's still hitting a support level at this point. So we want to see what is the market planning to do. So what I'm expecting at this point is we're going to have a little bit reversal from the dump that's happened. So altcoin took a really good dump. We should check how many percent that happened from over here when we called it yesterday. So we had a 1.9% decline in altcoin money flow. So, okay. So we're going to expect a short run. That's what I'm expecting. We're expecting a short run for altcoin. But overall, we're still in a large market decline that is going to be happening. So even if we're looking for a long trade for now, it's just going to be a short and temporary trade just to pick some profit. But overall, we want to look into the short. The same thing happening with Phil over here. We did a Phil short previous days and Phil also declining. So first, let's look at BTC again. What is going to be our stand on BTC? For BTC, despite that we could still have that short-term run, on the longer term, we still have the decline, which is going to happen. So I'm still going to stay on the short for BTC. And the same configuration we had, nothing changed. So if you open the trade yesterday, that trade should still be on, nothing changed with BTC as of now. And then we look at IUST that we took yesterday. For IUST, we've had the best result from it, but we can see that IUST is also hitting a support level over here. That's how we got our first 13% movement, and that has already happened. and IUSD is hitting the support level. So there's a possibility that we're going to see a little up run, but overall, we should see IUSD hitting this decline up until our last drop in the zone of 20%. So for now, you don't want to look to short this guy. If he makes an up run, you could look forward to a short in it, but for now, you don't want to short IUSD. If you still have your short open, if you didn't take the 50% profit, then that's fine, but you don't want to open a fresh short on that. And then we have BNB over here. We still have the same possibility like yesterday of a 7% BNB increase, but overall, we're still going to find the market declining as it relates to BNB. So since we still have the BTC trade open, what I'm looking for today in the market is to look at overall, we're seeing that there's going to be a short run before the pull down. So we're looking for markets that have already had a good amount of run upward that we can find short position in, while we're also looking at markets that already has a good level of decline or hitting any support that we can create a long position in, because the market in short term is going to have a little run upward, but overall we're going to see decline. So let's go to Binance and look for such kind of markets. Binance, let's go to markets.
SBO, okay. Can I suggest Lina?
Okay.
Let me get my Wi-Fi. My phone is going down.
All right.
Let me suggest Lina. Kind of want to play a trick on me this morning. Please.
Okay.
Let's take a look at it.
Okay, we're gonna look at Lina. I'll just put that in the list. First, we want to see trades that we can take immediately right now, and then we look at the other ones. So one of them we're seeing Key over here doing a 26% decline already. So let's look at what Key is doing and see if we can find a position in Key. And then I'm also going to open Lina. So we have Key over here, Key USDT, Seth Key, perfect. Okay. Oh yeah, Key. I remember the week that happened over here. And then let's have Lina over here. Lina USDT. DeFi coin. Okay. So first Key, we see Key has done a 26% decline. We're expecting altcoin markets to start having some money inflow that could happen maybe 24, 48 hours period. But overall, by end of this week, large possibility we see a large decline. So let's see, can we catch any long position with Lina? First, we want to identify what is Lina's zone trading right now. And if we look at that, we're going to see Lina high at 0.18 and Lina low on the zone at 0.002. On a shorter zone trading, we're going to be looking at Lina over here, hitting the support over here while it bounced up. And then we're seeing from this support over here that Lina bounced from is about 24%. Interesting. Very volatile coin. I'm going to switch that to green so we identify it. So we're looking at 24% bounce over here that Lina has already done. So we're looking at a market that has possibly declined over 50% and had a super bounce up onto this point. So that's a lot of market movement already, which shows that this is a coin we should be very cautious of. If we want to take a long on it, it's going to be very, very tricky long. So I'm going to shrink the chart so we can look at more data on what is possible with Key. So from what we can see in Key, if we're going to have a shoot up again from what Key is right now, we're going to be looking at a shoot up back to the previous resistance, which is at a 54%. This is an interesting volatile coin. And then we also have this next zone over here at 93%. Interesting. But if he decides to go downwards to the short, we have the fourth zone happening here at 17% movement. I'm going to switch that to red. We have the first over here at 17% movement, and then We have the next guy over here, 17, and then we have the next support over here at 50% movement. There's a super volatile market. So for deciding to long key, we're looking at first a 17% drop of the market, and then we're looking at a crazy 48% market drop. Now, if we want to trade this 8%, but if you don't have that much capital to cover a 48% movement, then you don't want to trade this kind of market. Is so volatile, and it has already done a push up from the previous dump of about 24%. So that's already a high pump from the dump. But as a volatile market, which is what we're always looking for, that's where you have much more profit. So I'm going to create a configuration into key for 48%, but I'm going to put little capital into this because it's so volatile. Whatever profit you make is going to be big on the profit side and also otherwise. So for key, let's look at our configuration. I'm going to put in just $1,000 in there. I don't want to do more. And being a very volatile market, I would want to go for more than a 5S. And understanding our concept yesterday, I said, if you have $1,000 and you want to do a 10S, meaning $10,000, you're using a high risk kind of market, that it would be better to open the same position size of $1,000, but without utilizing your whole capital. And I explained that what you could do is to put in 10% of your capital, which is $100, into a 10S. That's going to give you $1,000, and you have the same position side that you want to open without utilizing your whole capital and putting your capital at risk. So for me, I want to put in 10K into this, but I'm just going to go for 1,000 since I'm going to go for a 5S, giving me a total of 5,000 position side. Okay, so sorry, guys. Okay, so let me know if you're still following me before we go ahead to create our configuration for key.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect. So we're looking at the 48% movement. We want to see what is an average movement for key. So let's go to a shorter time frame. I'm going to go for 5 minutes. Let's see at every point that we had a ranging market with key, what's where the movement lies. So we have one over here that has been ranging. This is crazy. On a 5-minute chart, key is running on a ranging of 23%. This is a super volatile market. Let's see on a 15% frame. We also see a very short range happening over here. Let's see what that is for. That is for 8% movement. This is really volatile. 23% is really a lot to capture. It's really a lot. We want to see if there are more short-term range that key has had that we can work with. So we're sure if the market is going to decline or go upward with key, it has always worked with this level of range. We have the same over here, and it ran at 9%. That is super a lot, really a lot. I'm going to check for one more if we can find any shorter range with key. We have this range over here at about 6.3%. Okay, I'm going to make do with that. That's a far better range to work with. So I'm going to go for a 6% move, which gives me an 8 entry on my strategy. So I'm going to put that right in. So you want to do the same if you're following this trade. So you're also getting the same result like we did yesterday, the 80% result. You also want to get the same. So I'm going to go to my Tafabot app. I won't be able to show it on the screen right now. And I'm going to create my strategy for key. Okay, so back to Lena. All right, so first we see Lena having a zone trading over here, which we saw the week happening over here. And that happened at Lena being at 0.0117. Let's see what is the range that happened around there. from the current price of Lena to the previous height, we're looking at a 17% movement. I'm going to switch that to green so we identify it. So we have a 17% movement happening with Lena. And if we're looking at any drop from Lena, we're looking at the drop up to the last previous resistance that is going to become a Lena support. And that is happening at 24%. That's a good amount of movement. I'm going to switch that to red so we identify also. But if Lena decides to blow upward, remember we're trying to catch up a lot of long, or we're looking for market that's already progressed upward to catch some short for long term. If Lena decides to go, we have another range happening at Lena at 33%. And if that becomes something that Lena is able to break, which is really far-fetched for Lena, then we're looking at next over here. We're looking at a range of 45% over here. So let's see how far has Lena been doing. Lena is, let's go to Binance and look at Lena. Lena is already on 78% market movement. This is interesting. This is going to be fun to trade. So all we want to look at for this guy, we want to find the shorts because market is going to decline, but we want to cover up the short for the possible best movements that Lena could have. So we're going to go for a 45% movement. And this is going to be really an interesting trade because if Lena decides to keep progressing, we're going to have a lot of our strategy in the market, which is, for me, one of the best things to have a whole lot of your money in the market in your strategy. So we're looking at 45% movement. What is Lena average price movements? What is Lena's average price movement? So we want to look at Lena is having a range over here that's happening at 8%. That's really so far. We have another range happening with Lena here. What was the average movement? It had also 8%. And this is one thing you want to notice. Each of these markets, they have their own formula of how they range. There's a market that if they want to dump, when you want to talk about a dump with them, you're not looking at 5%, you're looking at 20%. The same way when they want to range, their range is different. For BTC, you'll be seeing like not more than 1% range. So we also have a 1.7% range over here. With Lena, this happened also today. It did that a lot today. This is 23rd. We also have the same happening over here. Let's look beyond. I'm going to go to 15 minutes so we can see far more days. This is the 23rd. Let's look at any other Lena's ranging that happened. We're still far on 23rd. Interesting. We're still far on 23rd. 1 hour. It feels like Lena is new. 1 minute. Let's go for a 1 month. Oh, wow. Okay. August. Okay. Okay. 22. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Back to 1 hour. Back to 15 minutes. We want to find the best comfortable range. This is a pump over here. A range before the pump happened at 8%. That is really a lot to go for. We could average that for Lena and we could decide to go for a 4% move. On average, Lena is moving with 8%. We could average that because we want a lot of trade in. We could go for a 4% move, giving us 11 entries. So I'm going to create this configuration with Lena. So you want to make sure you're doing the same. So we have Lena on Tafabot. Amazing. So I'm going to select Lena.
Is it 5x of your 10% of your capital?
Yes, that's still good.
Yeah.
Like I have Lena open here with a 5S in the strategy we just did. we're at 9% profit already, but it's still off my first entry. So my goal for Lina is I'm hoping it goes up, right? Let it not just dump, let it go up so I can have a lot of entry. If not, I'm going to keep taking profit. We're already at 10% over year movement on a 5 years. So that's pretty interesting. But I have no business with this because that's why our setting is that we want to take a 10% take profit, which will give us a 50% profit. So we are hoping that Lina goes up more. That is going to be good for us. Okay, so we have Lina there. So tomorrow we're going to review that. We have Lina, we still have our BTC trade. We're going to look for 2 more markets and see what we can get out of this market. We see money moving into BTC really much. Money is moving into BTC a lot. That is happening. And money is beginning to start moving into altcoin also. But BTC has more money flowing in because altcoins are like, they've pumped a lot. People just want to cash out. But of course, if BTC starts moving in, altcoin is going to follow suit just a little bit. So we are also looking for markets that we can hit up. And one of the guys I'm looking at right now is Phil. We did a few short days ago at this point and took also a 50% profit on Phil, but it's also at the support level where we took profit. So we want to capture a few short-term run for long. So we are also going to go for a Phil. So let's see what is Phil's next move. So from where Phil is right now, we're looking at Phil reclaiming the previous resistance over here, which will be at a 10% movement. I'm going to switch it to green, which will be at a 10% movement. But if Phil decides to keep going ballistic, then first we captured last time a 44% movement of Phil. But that is going to be that the market decides to go fully bullish, which it doesn't look like based on the money flow right now. So I want to capture just along with Phil that just aims for Phil going 10% from where it currently is. But if Phil keeps declining because the market is declining, the first part we're looking at here is that Phil has a 1 minute. It has over here, the first part over here has a 15% market movement that is possible in a decline. And the next range we can find with Phil over here is also the range of a 31%. That's a lot. Okay, so we're looking at Phil doing that. So we might want to cover up the best that Phil can do for a 31% movement, while we want to capture the short-term move with Phil. So I'm going to create also a long with Phil, but all of these are just short-term trade for what the market's about to do. And so I'm going to put in also low amount of money for short-term trade. So we're looking to capture Phil doing a 32% movement. And let's see what is an average for Phil. We find Phil ranging over here. Let's see an average range that Phil has been doing, about 1.7% in average. Let's see other times Phil has range. What were they like? About 2.3% in ranging. If we move further to 15 minutes, we find a lot of range happening with Phil over here. And this happened at about 8%. And let's find any closer look over here. Yeah, so we still got about 2.9%. So it will be safe to say we can go with a 3% Phil movement. So we could go with a 3%. So let's create our martingale configuration. We want to capture 44%. Now remember, the essence of 44% is we want to be relaxed, right? If we want to be conservative, then we're looking at capturing just Phil going against us with not more than 15%. If we want to be conservative, or if we want to be relaxed, we want to go for the best move that Phil can do. So move over to our martingale calculator. We want to capture 44% movement on a 3% average move, gives us a 14 entries. So I'm going to be creating this configuration also. So you also want to do the same. So tomorrow we can review what is our result also with fill. I'm going to create a fill setup. So we're looking at LTO here at 37% upward. And if LTO decides to go fully ballistic, which will happen in a very bullish market, then we are looking at LTO having a 57% movement over here. It's already breaking in. I love that. Perfect. Okay, now if LTO decides to start declining, what are we looking at in decline from LTO? First, we want to look at this resistance over here that is going to become a new support for LTO, and that is going to happen at 17%. Next, we want to look over here. That happened over here also at about 30%. So we're looking at 17% drop and then a 30% drop. Now, one of the reasons why I will want to take an LTO trade is it's going to help me to get all my entries in. It's going to help me get all my entries fully in. So I want to create a 57% movement of short into LTO because I want all my entries in for the best of profits. And for this guy, I want to give it a much, much better amount of capital. So I'm going to do a $5,000 capital on it. And we're looking at 59% movement. We're looking at a 59% movement. And let's see what is an average move. And LTO is going to be our last look for today. So we have the range happening over here at 3.7%. Let's identify more possible range. A lot happening over here also. And let's see 1.9%, pretty interesting. And let's see also in the 15 minutes time frame, everywhere we've ever had an LTO range. And that happened over here at 3.9%. So I want to go for that. I want to go for a 3.9%. We identified it several times with LTO. So I'm pushing my configuration for a 3.9% market movement for LTO. And I have 15 entries. So I'm creating my configuration for LTO. So let's look at Iris and we create the configuration after the Zoom. So we're looking at 49% movement happening with Iris also. And in decline, we're looking at Iris is tricky. So you want to use like a lesser capital for such kind of market because it's coming from a large market week already. But for LTO, I want to put in a whole lot of capital into it. A whole lot of capital into it. So first we're looking at this movement and then over here we're looking at 32% drop, 18 and 32% drop also. So this is our configuration. We want to cover up a 49% movement and want to have a take profit of 10% also over here. Let's do that. So we're 49%, want to have a take profit of, so I'm going to put in 49%. Let's look for what is an average price movement. Want to find every possible range. We have a range over here. And what was it? 7%. For me, that's really too high to have a 7% movement. I feel like it's so super high because when you're done, the market is going to be 7% against you. I think that's pretty high for an average movement. So I want to look for what is the closest possible movement. We have here 6% happening over here. We also have a long range that happened within here and this part, and that happened with 2.6%. Okay, and over here, we have it at the same 2.9%. So on average, we can go for a 3% movement with Iris. So if we go for our configuration, we can go for a 3% movement. So it gives us a 16% entry also to create our configuration. So we've looked at LTO, we've looked at Irish, we already have a trade on Lena. We've also considered Key. So all of these are our trade that we're going to review tomorrow. So right after this Zoom, you want to refresh your Tafabot app. You're going to find all of those markets in the next 30 minutes. You want to create your configuration on them, and let's catch the profits. All right, guys. So that is going to be about
it. Take profit on Irish, 10% as well?
10%. Those are long-term markets. We are only trading those market once. So they are not like, we're not having like multiple strategy period. It's just one. So we're taking all the profit that they can offer.
And it's short, right? We are looking at short at Irish.
Yes, we're looking at short in those markets because we are considering into the long term of what the market is going to do. So you see, money started leaving altcoin back. That will explain why Irish, LTO are already dumping really fast. You could see money is leaving again, and they are going back to USDT. So money is going to move to USDT eventually, and all the market is going to crash really, really hard. For the market we have open, we already have the short Lena here. We have the field that we long for a short term, and we're hoping that we have a lot of entry into field because that's profit for us. So when the market bounce from the current dump is going to do, we're going to take profits there. So that's going to be about it for today. See you again tomorrow.